All right, in this section, 9.3, you're solving quadratic equations by using a square root. And primarily, now this isn't the only place it happens, but for us, primarily you're going to be solving quadratic equations in the form ax squared plus c. It means you're missing that bx term. So the only issue with solving using a square root is you have to acknowledge both roots. You have the principal and the secondary. So what you'll look like is you'll have this thing called a plus and minus. Okay, anytime that you are solving, not simplifying, solving, you have to acknowledge both roots. So step one is to get your square by itself. So I want this guy to be completely alone, which means I'm going to add the 49 to both sides. Once your square is by itself, which it is now, take the square root of both sides. Okay, the square root of x squared is x, and the square root of 49 is 7. And this is where you acknowledge both roots, plus or minus. This means one answer is a positive 7, and one answer is a negative 7. So get your radical or your square by itself. You're going to add the 100 to both sides. Take the square root of both sides. Square root of 100 is 10. Okay, but you used a square root to solve. You need to make sure that you include your plus or minus. This means one answer is a positive 10. One answer is a negative 10. There's my square right here. So I want to get rid of the 6. And I'm going to do that by dividing this time, because this is really 6 times x squared. So I'm going to divide by 6. Your square is isolated. Take the square root of both sides. Square root of 9 is 3. Make sure you include your plus or minus. It means one answer is your positive 3. One answer is your negative 3. This is 3/4 x squared. There's my x squared. This is really 3/4 times x squared. So in order to get rid of the fraction, we want to multiply by the reciprocal. So the reciprocal of 3/4 is 4/3. So I'm going to multiply both sides by 4/3. Let's see, 48 times 4/3, I think it's 64. Well, let's check. $64, I was right. Square root both sides. Plus or minus means one answer is positive 8. One answer is negative 8. Okay, this time the square is here, and you've got two things going on. You're going to add the 16 first. Your square is still attached to that 9. You're going to divide. Now 16 is not divisible by 9, so I'm going to leave it like this. Then you're going to square root both sides. So the square root of 16 over 9 is the same as saying the square root of 16 divided by the square root of 9. Well, the square root of 16 is 4, and the square root of 9 is 3. And don't forget your plus or minus, which means you have one solution that's positive 4/3 and one that's a negative 4/3. There's my square. We're going to subtract 8. That is 48. Take the square root of both sides. All right, now 48 is not a square. All right, so when I take the square root, I got to think of the largest possible square that divides evenly into it, and it's 3. That's a lie. 16. So I want you to notice that I did a couple things here. First, I went ahead and did the plus or minus because I'm going to need it anyway. Okay, then I broke up that 16 just like I did in Unit 8. We'll go with it. Unit 8. Broke it up into its square and its not square. The square root of 16 is 4, and the 3 is going to stay underneath. This means our solutions are positive 4 root 3 and negative 4 root 3. All right, here's my square on this one. You're going to add the 126. You still have your square right here, so you're going to divide both sides by 2. Take the square root of both sides now that your square is isolated. 63 is not a square, so we got to think of the largest possible square that goes into 63, and that is 9, and it's 9 times 7. So the square root of 9 is 3, and the 7 stays underneath, which means you have an answer of positive 3 root 7. I hate when it looks unneat. And negative 3 root 7. Right. There's my square. And then this 8 right here, this is an understood positive 8, so we're going to subtract 8 from both sides. So this is negative 30. Still have your square. Divide both sides by negative 3. Take the square root of both sides. Now let's think about 10 for a minute. My only two choices are that can divide into 10 are 9 and 4. Neither one of those divide into 10. So 10 doesn't change. You're going to leave it out inside the radical. So x is the positive root of 10 and the negative root 10. Okay. There are no squares that divide evenly into 10. So we keep it underneath. There's my square. We're going to add 11 to both sides. All right. To get rid of the fraction, multiply by the reciprocal. Reciprocal of 1/2 is 2. Take the square root of both sides. 72 is not a square. The largest square that divides into 72 is 36. Square root of 36 is 6. And the 2 stays under. Solutions are positive 6 root 2 and negative 6 root 2. All right. There's my square. Subtract 81. Square root both sides. Now here's the deal. We are taking the square root of a negative number. So first I'm plus or minus. You take the negative 1 and then the 81. Square root of 81, I'm going to do that one first, is 9. Square root of negative 1, that's I. Remember, I equals the square root of negative 1. So my two possible solutions are positive 9i and negative 9i. There's my square. So I'm going to subtract the 9. Still have the square. So I'm going to divide both sides by 2. Square root both sides. You are taking the square root of a negative number, so take the negative 1 and then that digit. Luckily, 4 is a square. Square root of 4 is 2. And the square root of that negative 1 is I. So x is positive 2i. X is negative 2i. There's my square. I'm going to subtract 15. Still have my square, and it's attached to that 4, so I get rid of the 4. Take the square root. You're taking the square root of a negative number, so make sure you take the negative 1 and then the 6. Okay, so the issue with 6 is that the only possible square that can divide evenly into it is 4, and 4 doesn't. So the only square root that I have is that square root of negative 1. And the square root of negative 1 is I. The 6 is going to stay underneath. So my two possible solutions, positive I root 6 and negative I root 6. There's my square. Subtract your 13. Square root. Break this up into negative 1 and 12. Okay, 12 does have a perfect square. It's 4. I'm going to go ahead and take the I out and then break that 12 up into 4 and 3. Square root of 4 is 2, and that's going to go in front of your I. And then the 3 stays underneath. So my two possible solutions are 2i root 3 and negative 2i root 3. There's my square. Add the 5. Still have the square. Divide by 3. Is negative 147. Square root. Break it up into negative 1, and then it's 147. I'm going to go ahead and take the square root of the negative 1, and that's I. And then find the largest square that divides evenly into 147. Ah, 49. Not expected that. It's 49 and 3. The square root of 49 is 7. And then the 3 is going to stay underneath. Two solutions are 7i root 3. Or negative, that's terrible. Negative 7i root 3. Okay, last one. There's my square. Add the 1. Multiply by the reciprocal since you're trying to get rid of that fraction. All right, square root both sides. Break it up, negative 1 and positive 27. Square root of negative 1 is I, and 27 can be broken up into 9 and 3. 9 is the largest square. Square root of 9 is 3. The other 3 stays underneath. So my two solutions are 3i root 3 and negative 3i root 3.